This is Jennifer with Online for Authors, and today our featured guest is Keyla Damaer, and she is an Italian author who has been writing since she was a child, and she's traveled a lot around throughout the United States where her family lives, but she currently lives in Rome. You're currently in Rome with your husband and your turtle, correct?
Yes, that's where I am.
How are things in Rome right now?
Crazy, as they have been the whole year. We know why. I mean, the whole world has COVID, so we are locked up, kind of. Shops are open now, and they have been for a while, but for Christmas Day and for the season, they are going to be closed again. And we can see family, so it's going to be a different Christmas this year.
Definitely hard on everybody. Are you finding that it's changed what you do as an author?
Not really. I spend most of the year writing full time, except in spring when I work in an office as an accountant full time that period, and the rest of the year I manage that job when I can, and I try to write full time, and that's what I did when we were in lockdown last spring. 2 months I couldn't go out, but if I have nothing to do outside, I'm normally sitting here at my computer writing.
Yeah.
So to me, the lockdown and the crazy things happening all around the world didn't change much my life as an author, really. Of course, emotionally, it did, but not for my job, not really.
Yeah, it's a heightened emotion situation for sure. I think all the way throughout the world, it's the isolation part. So let's talk about the name of your book. Your book is called The Parallels.
The title, I chose that title because the three main characters of the story are these three women, and their lives never meet. So when I wrote them, I was thinking about parallel lines. In mathematical terms, they go parallel and never meet. They go to the infinite and never meet. And these characters will never meet, even if their lives are entwined and their stories are entwined.
You actually write in your book, The Parallels, about a character in isolation.
Yeah.
And there's, the emotion, when we talk about the emotions, you've got the emotions too in that character.
Eleanor, the character locked in this lab, wakes up with no memory, and her task is not only to survive, but to find out who she is, where she comes from, to understand where to go. Which is basically what everybody does in their life.
It is. It's a life journey for sure. So yeah. The name of this, how do I say the name of this series properly? It's
Sehnsucht. It's a German word, and it has no translation in most languages, but we have a great definition of this word by C.S. Lewis. And I quote, the inconsolable longing in the heart for we know not what. When I met this word, I kind of fell in love with it, if one can fall in love for words. I suppose we authors do. And it could be translated for longing for something, but it's not exactly that, it's more than that. And most of my characters long for something and they don't know what it is, or they don't belong, they want to, but they can't. And this is a theme that goes on in all the stories I'm writing.
Well, I enjoyed The Parallels. Thank you for sending me a copy to read in advance of this interview, because uh, the world building. You've built another world, and it very much helped me escape into that world. And then your three characters, where each one of their lives was given enough about their lives in the building of your characters that I could relate to each one of them on some level. And so, yeah, that was wonderful to, even though my life is nothing like any of theirs. You know, there are the, you know, the personal elements, the, you know, the friendship and life struggle elements. There's the, again, soul searching, for lack of soul, might not be the best word here, but the searching and the adventure that they go through. And they each have their own adventure. And I love how you've brought the three together. Like you say, they do intertwine.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for reading it. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah. So what made you come, like, where did the idea to write a story, you know, that's based in, it's futuristic to me, very much futuristic. You've got elements of science and medical advancement. You've got like kind of topics we don't really touch, the kind of taboo in a sense, written into your story. And so where did the idea come from to write this series?
The first piece I wrote was the prologue. And it started like a joke. I thought about this girl trapped, and I didn't know at first where she was. Like her, she doesn't know, and I didn't know who she was. And then slowly I started to see this idea of augmented humans and the aliens. The aliens and the war. It's the war between the Mandirians and Earth, basically, has been going on for ages, and I have that outlined in my head and in paper. Like I told you before, I'm writing a prequel, so that goes into depth about the history between Earth and Mander Prime before book one. Well, ideas to write come from everything: a picture, the news on TV, or I don't know, a bee on a flower. Everything can give that sparkle for an idea. Sometimes I dream a scene and I have to wake up and write it down before I forget about it. It just happens.
It's fantastic how you've tied it all together. So you're an independent author, meaning that you've published yourself. How did you find that journey?
Daunting at first. I first published this book 2 years ago, only on Amazon. Then I review it and republish it again this year, and I decided to go wide, which means I'm not exclusive to Amazon, and I'm happy I'm doing this. So you'll never find my stories in Kindle Unlimited. So it's a challenge, but it's fun because it's not boring. I mean, you have to learn something every day. Each platforms works differently, and it's not like your book is there and you wait for people to read it because they can read it for free. Of course, I have to learn how to market my products, my books, my stories. And that's another journey. I'm still learning a lot about that every day. But it's kind of fun. really not, I'm never bored. Never bored.
Well, I can tell by the way we met that there's a very supportive group that you're involved in with regards to this going wide and not being on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. So
Yeah.
there too is the connection in that group is fantastic. It's very supportive. There's a lot of help.
Yeah.
There's tons of resources if you search through the group. The other is that I wanted to ask you, why not Kindle Unlimited?
Oh, thanks for asking, because probably readers don't know. I think independent authors are treated differently from publishing houses by Amazon. I mean, I see famous authors on Kindle Unlimited, and then they can sell on other stores. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go through Kindle Unlimited, I must be exclusive with Amazon. And I'm talking about ebooks. Paperbacks is another matter. So I ask myself, do I want to give my my rights, not my rights, but my my stories in exclusivity to someone like a monopolist? And the answer was no. I mean, I'm against all monopolies, because in the end, a monopoly doesn't suit well me nor the reader, just the monopolist. So I didn't want to go through Kindle Unlimited, but I never did. Even when I first published the book, and I was only on Amazon because I didn't know how to publish on other platforms. I wasn't in Kindle Unlimited. And like I said, I never will. I mean, I could change my mind and become crazy or something, but I'm definitely against monopolies. And so that's why I'm not in Kindle Unlimited.
So I wanted to ask too, when did you just make that decision? How long has this journey been since you've actually been researching going wide?
Since last spring, when I republished the book, the reviewed version of the parallels, I immediately decided that I didn't want to go through Kindle Unlimited, and published directly through Google Books, and then used an aggregator, as we call them, Draft to Digital, to distribute through other shops, other retailers. So the major retailers, you can find the book at the major retailers online, and also in bookstores and libraries, because I recently published it through Ingram Sparks, and they distribute physically the paperback. So if someone wants to go to their library or their bookstore, they can have it ordered from there.
So what did you find the big difference was?
Between what?
Between being with Amazon and now being published independently and going wide. The big difference between a couple of years ago and now.
Well, a couple of years ago, I just left my book there and went back to writing, forgot about everything else. I mean, I didn't know anything about marketing, newsletters, or the world, the real world behind writing a book. Writing a book is just the tip of the iceberg. A reader actually doesn't know what's behind, and an author, a newbie author, doesn't know either. So I left it there, and obviously didn't sell much. Which is fine, because the book really needed reviewing. The difference, I don't know. I feel I can reach out to many people, to more people, and everyone can find me everywhere. If you look for Keyla Damaer on Google, there's a huge list of places where you can find me, including my website, but not only that. And in different languages too. The book is only in English, I didn't translate it, but you can find it in France, in Germany, in Canada, in Australia. So it's all over the place, and I'm happy about it. I mean, I'm not saying I have many readers, but potentially I have the world in my hands.
So you also are actively involved in marketing your book. You actively are talking about it and sharing it, and there's more engagement around you as an author.
Yes, definitely. I've been studying marketing in between writing the stories, so it's not a full-time study. I need breaks to write, and sometimes I dedicate time some days to marketing. It's not every day as it should. And I'm learning slowly, each day something new. The thing is, there's no need to rush. I have only one book published, and everybody says that I need more books, more published books before I can really launch campaigns to advertise my stories. So what I'm doing now is trying to increase my newsletter, my subscribers, and every once in a while trying some paid advertisement, not on Amazon. I'm not trying that because it's too complicated. It really needs time to learn, and I don't have the time nor the means right now to do that. So it's just a casual attempt to advertise, but it pays me back, so it's good. It's all good.
Good. Very good. Thank you for sharing your journey with Draft to Digital and Google Play Books. Are you doing anything with their promotions?
No, not really, not yet. Like I said, with just one book, it's not worth it, because I should study the results every time I have a promotion, but without other data to compare, it doesn't make any sense. So you don't know what you're doing wrong, and you don't know what you should change. No, not really. It's just a promotion here or there from other sites that through newsletters send out my stories, and I get a subscription to my newsletters. Sometimes reviews are very important. Please review books when you read them. And that's all. It's very limited and simple right now, but with one book, that's all I can do.
You do have prequel and sequels that you're working on. Do you have an estimated time of when we might be able to see those?
Not really. Well, the prequel is almost in the hands of my editor. I wrote her, and I'm waiting for a reply. She'd probably work on it next year. But I'm not sure I intend to publish it as soon as it's ready. I prefer to have more books ready and publish them in sequence, so that I have more material to advertise. At that point, I can start really advertising. So it's going to take a while before even book 2 is ready to publish.
You are doing some fun things with your newsletter, though. Let's share that.
Well, right now I'm basically using Story Origin. It's a free app for now. At least it's in beta version, and I'm really enthusiastic about it, because well, it's for free for once. And it's really helpful because I started from zero. I had no subscribers, and now it's not much, but I have my 300 followers. And well, it's growing slowly, but it does pay. I mean, it's interesting to see people to interact with me, and yeah, uh, I'm using basically that one. And sometimes paid advertisement, like I said, and they subscribe to my newsletter without passing through Story Origin. But yeah, that's it.
What did you include in your newsletter this month?
I had one going out about a book I read with my review. My newsletter started that way. I read a lot, mostly for research, but not only that. Mm-hmm. And since I always say to others to leave reviews, I always try to leave a review myself when I read a book. And I said, why don't I start a blog and a newsletter with my reviews? And that's what I did about a year ago. So this month I had this review about a science fiction book I read a couple of weeks ago. And another one that went out yesterday with promotions about other books, freebies mostly. Mm-hmm. It was a newsletter swaps with other authors through Story Origin.
Mm-hmm. What I like about your newsletter is that you do the reviews. You know, you do, like you said, you ask for reviews and you do them. That review was your genre to sci-fi, right? So that's a good compliment, because you know, if readers are attracted to your writing, then they'd also be attracted to other sci-fi writings. And that you're promoting other authors and their freebies. So you're very much community minded in your newsletter, and it's not just come here, buy my book, or all about you type of a newsletter, which is refreshing.
I couldn't do that. I mean, I detest it when others do it to me. And so I try not to do it to others. There's an old saying, don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. I don't know if it's in English it's the same, but we have it in Italian. So I think promoting other authors in the same genre, but not only, is what is right for me. I feel it's right to do. And when I read a book, if I liked it, I want to tell others why and what I didn't like, if there was something I didn't like. So when they read the blurb and check the reviews, they know what to expect. Of course, there are no spoilers. I usually don't spoil stories. That would be awful to do.
It's hard. Writing a good review is something it's not as easy as it sounds. It is hard to learn how to do.
No, but you know, writing reviews is also an exercise to me.
Yeah.
So I use everything I can as an exercise in writing, and that's a good one.
Yeah. Now this is a hard question. Are you ready?
I'm sitting. Okay.
Who is your favorite author?
Okay, no, it's not hard.
No?
But no, it isn't. Absolutely. Well, I like many genres and I have many favorite authors, but the top of the top to me is not science fiction, actually. It's fantasy, and it's Tolkien.
Oh, very good.
I read almost everything about him, and all the books on Middle-earth, the whole Middle-earth history, the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings, everything I read almost everything, and I love
I have the collection.
it.
I work with authors a lot too, so it's hard for me to pick a favorite, you know. But of course, you've got anything that has to do with, you know, Harry Potter, or The Hobbit, or The Lord of the Rings. I mean, those are just class. I mean, they're remarkable in every sense.
Yeah.
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 So, do you have also a favorite newsletter that you like to read?
Not really. Mm, there's one that I subscribe to many, but I don't have time to read them all, of course. There's one, and again, it's not about books or authors. It's about Photoshop, because I also like drawing and digital art. So that one I usually read it. There are a few interesting things that the guy talks about.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative.
Thank you.
So, what is one piece of advice that you would offer a new like a writer that intends to publish, not yet published, but just about? What would be one piece of advice that you would offer?
The first thing is make sure that your text has been professionally edited. It's expensive. The editor will probably make you cry. It doesn't matter. They're good tears. So once you have that, make sure that your cover is professionally made by a cover artist that you paid, and that knows your genre, so that when the reader sees the cover, knows that that's romance or young adult or science fiction or whatever. The cover has to speak for what the book is about at first sight. Otherwise, once the reader goes to the blurb and it doesn't connect with the cover, it goes on. It leaves your book behind. It doesn't care.
Do you have your book handy?
Yes,
Yeah,
with an old cover, but I do.
With no cover?
No, I just changed the logo. I had it done by a cover by an artist, and I changed that, but the cover is the same. I don't know if.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. So there's all three main characters are on that cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the fact that you called it parallels, and then explained to me after where the parallel came in with the three characters, it makes sense what the book cover is now to me, and I understand better having you tell me. Now, the blurb on the back of your book, how much did you do that on your own, or did you get help with that?
That was like giving childbirth. I mean, it was a nightmare. I had help from different authors and different groups, and wrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it again and again and again. I think I finally came to this version, which seems to work. I'm not sure it's perfect, but I see a lot of blurbs there tell me nothing about books, even from famous authors. I mean, I read their blurbs and ask myself, what is this book about? I don't know.
Yeah. Are you okay to read the blurb off the back of your book for me?
This is the old one. I have to check it out. You got me unprepared on this one.
I'm sorry. This is what real and raw looks like. This is not scripted. There's nothing scripted about this, and you're doing wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can find it. Okay. A militia officer on the hunt for a murder, a scientist with the key to humanity's future, a girl in a glass tank with no memory, one seeking justice, one seeking fame, one seeking answers. With the galaxy on the brink of war, time is not on their side. Abroad, Hydra Station, Halazar vows to uncover the truth behind the murder of a friend and a fellow officer. Saddled with an ambitious agent with authority over the investigation, she must choose between duty and justice. Lanise, a human scientist, identifies a group of cells that may change the future of humanity. Her dream of fame seems to be coming true. However, her discovery draws the kind of attention that turns her life into a nightmare. Meanwhile, in a secret lab on Rigel Prime, a human girl wakes up in a glass tank. With no idea of who or where she is, she struggles to understand her legacy in this strange, morose world. Join them in their battle for survival. Okay, I'm not good at reading.
Well, you know what? It's fantastic, and thank you for going there, even though it might have been uncomfortable. The each one, even in your blurb, you've told me enough to tell me that each one of those characters has some sort of conflict.
Yes.
And you've told me enough about the story to catch me if I want to read it further, right? So there's very important. The blurb on a book is as important as your editor and your cover designer. So the fact that you went through almost childbirth with that blurb sounds like it was worth it.
Okay, thank you.
It actually, having read the book, it ties it all together. Each one of those ladies has a conflict, and I find a lot of writers have a hard time developing conflict for one character, not three. So
well,
that's quite a challenge you've taken on.
There's no story without a conflict. It's the basic rule about writing.
Yeah. But three characters, not one. You have three characters in your book with conflict. Well, there's more. I mean, the conflict is developed with those three characters, but the other characters in the book too, have their conflict, and some of them were underlying conflicts more than just very evident conflicts. But one character is hard to write a conflict for. So I was pleasantly surprised at the way that you put, three characters and their conflicts in your book, and made it very engaging and something I wanted to continue to read. I'm looking forward to the next book. I'm very, very happy to have met you, and thank you very much for your interview today.
Thank you for this opportunity.